Hello, hello, Sunrise Extra family on a Friday.
I love
Friends and
it.
family.
Hi, Friday fun. This is what you, who dubbed it that? Friday fun. Drew?
No, but
Brenda?
I'll take full credit if you
Okay.
like.
It's been a while. You've been off. You've enjoyed vacation. You dropped
like
in
it.
for just one work day before the weekend.
I like this setup. I could do the 1 day on and 6 days off schedule all the time.
Yeah, right?
Now, would that affect your salary in any way?
Probably. Probably
yeah,
a little bit.
probably.
Although you said salary, so it doesn't really matter how often we work, right? We're going to get
I
paid the same.
guess. It's how hard you work. Okay, we are talking about the weekend. So, Rod, we want to kick off with you. Let us know the temperature, what days are going to be hitting 80 degrees. We're excited.
Okay, so here we go. So we haven't hit 80 in 2 weeks.
That's kinda
bad,
crazy, right?
Because
I know.
80 is considered, well, 80 is kind of normal this time of the year.
Yeah.
So, you know, we had some early cloudiness around, but it's starting to break up already in many spots. So today goes on to be gorgeous. We hit 80. Tomorrow's kind of a similar day, right around 80 degrees. If you're out overnight Saturday night, that's when we think a weak system comes and will, in fact, bring some scattered showers through. But if you look at the forecast models, those showers really ought to be out of here by sunrise Sunday or shortly after. And then Sunday, while not a 0% chance of rain, has a good chance of just being dry, partly cloudy, mid-70s with kind of a cool west breeze at times. And then just like that, we get back into sunny and 80 next week. Starting next week, it still looks like we just go and go and go with summer weather. Yeah.
But it is weird. I mean, I could probably have you on special assignment for the next few minutes, Rod, wondering when's the last time we went this far into July, now it's the 10th, before we hit an 80-degree day. So you can get to work on that if you'd like, Rod, or you can just blow me off.
So you're talking about just in the, obviously we've hit 80 already, but you're talking in the month of July.
Yes, I'm saying what year,
yeah.
how long
Oh, look
ago
at
was
that.
it that we had to go
Yeah.
10 days into the month before we hit an
I get
80-degree day? So while Rod does his homework and his research there, the reason we bring this up, Brenda and Nina and Rodney, is because obviously it's going to be nice this weekend. So we're wondering what our viewers are going to do this weekend. I know that many of our viewers, because they've expressed this for weeks now, they're still trying to live as socially distant a lifestyle as possible. But it is hard to ignore this fantastic weather and the opportunity to get outside and enjoy that fresh air, right? So the question is, how are you going to enjoy this weekend? We could have tried to tackle a tougher topic on a Friday, but we said it is Friday.
No, it's Friday.
Let's keep it light and enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that I was gone for 4 days, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days. Thank you. Oh, this is where I was, as a matter of fact, Central Oregon. So
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that is Subtle Lake, as a matter of fact, right there. We did a little fishing from way of a canoe. That's right, the boys and I in a canoe doing some fishing, and we caught nothing, but we had a fun time doing it. Yeah, there I am.
Look at the beard.
Oh, yeah,
the
look at that.
scruff.
Well, beard snuck back in this week. That beard went away again. Even some time for relaxation. My wife caught this. I was legitimately out right there. I was out cold on the lawn, and the boys thought that was pretty silly that Dad would just fall asleep in the middle of the day like that. But the boys forget their dad's kind of old now. Hard to keep up with those young men. But we were in Sun River for a little bit. We were there at Subtle Lake 2 days ago. And I was definitely curious because I was told, oh, wait till you get to Sun River. It's just, it's like they're not paying attention at all to the pandemic. No masks at all. It's like nothing's going on.
You had heard that about Sun River specifically?
I did. Before I went there,
Okay.
I heard from someone who said they were there a few weeks ago, and they're like, oh, it'll be like nothing's even going on there. Wait till you see it.
That is the feeling I've gotten when I've gone to Bend.
But it was not like that.
Okay, good. Because now the statewide mandate is for the indoor public places. Yeah.
There wasn't a single place that I went indoors, whether it was to the grocery store real quick to grab something. One time the boys wanted to play a little miniature golf, but you had to step inside of a little hut to sign them up. I mean, everywhere we went, anytime anyone was indoors, I saw people wearing masks. No issue whatsoever. There's a pretty popular pool there. I'm sure a lot of our viewers know about, the Shark.
Yes.
So when we got there, we knew that you had to make a reservation, which is new this year. They want to limit the number of people at that pool, so you had to do it by reservation only. We called on Monday for Tuesday. They're like, no, Shark Pool is now closed Tuesdays and Wednesdays for thorough cleaning each week. They're like, why don't you call us back on Wednesday to reserve for Thursday? I was like, because I'll be back in Portland by Thursday. But it was cool to see that they were making those arrangements to keep things safe.
That place is so cool, the Shark.
It is cool. Thanks for reminding me, Nina, since we couldn't experience it ourselves this week. But bottom line is, I guess what I'm getting at is, I was pleasantly surprised to see how many people were really going by the mask mandate. And even on the bike path, which I admit, when I was on the bike, riding down the paths, I did not have my mask on. Others did. So, you know, it was mask city as far as I was concerned.
We actually were talking about you yesterday, Nina and I. We kind of sit at a distance in the newsroom, and we were kind of pondering what you were doing on your vacation. And I said, are we going to need to take his temperature before he comes back in the newsroom and maybe quarantine him? So you were a hot topic yesterday.
Gosh.
My ears were burning.
I'm glad to hear that you were a good boy on vacation.
I thought it was sunburn, but apparently it was just the two of you talking about me that was causing my ears to burn. That's a good question. I just asked my wife this last night. Have any of you, Nina, Brenda, Rodney, have any of you had your temperature checked for any reason entering a place over the last few months? Where was it, Nina?
I got a pedicure the other day, and they do temperature checks there. That may have been the only place I've had it.
Where were you reading that? I'm kind of curious.
They didn't show me. They just did the gun and looked at it and said, you're fine. I was kind of curious, but then I was like, oh, okay, whatever, and we moved on to something else. But yeah.
And we were at a driving range the other day, and before Jeff walked into the pro shop, he had to get his temperature checked, and I waited outside, but I'm like, do mine.
Yeah.
Okay. Right? And I didn't have a temperature.
Rod, have you had your temperature taken at any point? Not that we care, because you're sitting there in your home anyway. You're kind of safe in your little bubble.
Yeah. For starters, I go to the driving range literally pretty much every single day. Now, you have to have a mask on in the driving in the pro shop area, but nobody's taking your temperature. I got my temperature taken when I was on vacation back in Missouri, because one of the reasons we went back, my mother had some surgery done. So, of course, when you go to the hospital, you know, right there, you had to ask some questions and then get your temperature taken, and then they had the hand sanitizer station right there. And then I'm getting rotator cuff surgery in mid-August. So the week before I have my surgery, of course, I'll have to have a COVID test, you know, which I think is pretty standard procedure these days, right?
Yeah.
So I have to have that taken to make sure I'm negative before I have my surgery.
Yeah, I mean, they really are taking all kinds of precautions, as they should be. My daughter had a doctor's appointment over at Good Sam, and I was going to walk in with her, and they're like, do you have an appointment? I'm like, no.
Oh, they only want the actual person coming in.
So I trotted my hiney right back to the car in the parking garage.
I love when you say hiney. It cracks me up. Yeah, Drew, I was over. I mean, when Brenda and I were nicely speaking about you yesterday, I also said, like, you know, you should say the same about me, because I was over in Pacific City for the 4th of July weekend, and it was, I mean, like, starting probably on the 3rd, it was packed over there. Just like the whole streets, you know, lined with cars of people, because you can't drive now on the sand right now, and that, you know, forces a lot of cars up into the parking lot and on the street to find parking. So it was packed. And I was telling Brenda, I saw license plates right there in that Pelican Brew Pub parking lot, from like Indiana and Virginia and like far East Coast. And tons of Washington, tons of California, Idaho. I have a friend, we were over there with a bunch of other firefighter friends. My husband's a firefighter, and a lot of their wives, they met at the hospital, and so they're nurses. And they're nurses over in Bend, and they were saying that the Bend Hospital, all of their ICU beds are full with COVID patients, and the vast majority of them are like from far East Coast, and they would readily tell the nursing staff who was helping them, oh, we drove, you know, to the West Coast, we drove to Oregon because we heard you guys have such low numbers of COVID cases compared to our states.
Until
and I was
you
like,
guys
well, thanks a
get here.
lot. Yeah.
Jeez.
And so they either, you know, picked it up along the way driving, or, you know, got it when they got to Central Oregon. So, yeah, not great, but I don't know.
So what's the gathering limit now? I mean, we have been really doing next to nothing at our house.
Right.
We've been super crazy conservative with it just because. Remind me, how many people can get together?
I thought phase 1 is like 25.
25?
People indoors.
But there's only 3 counties in phase 1 at this point.
Yeah.
Everyone else is in
Yeah,
phase 2.
and I can't remember is it 150? I can't remember.
It's indoor, outdoors. I think outdoors it's 250 when you're in phase 2, right? You can have
Okay.
up to 250 people in an outdoor gathering space. But you're still supposed to maintain 6 feet of social distance. So you need to have some. When we say outdoors, it's not like someone's backyard. 250 people cram
Right.
in. But I know the zoo, for example, not that they were going by phase 1 or phase 2, but they were waiting for the okay to allow more than 250 people in the zoo at a given time, because if it was only 250 people, the zoo just could not open. It wasn't worth it
Yeah.
to open up for that small a number of people.
And that's another good thing. I mean, I was writing up some things to do. So the zoo is open right now to zoo members with your card. Sunday it opens up to everyone else. You have to go online. Even if you're a member, you have to go online and reserve like a reservation time and print your ticket, because they're doing contactless stuff. Pittock Mansion is open now, and they're doing reserved time slot tickets too. What was the other thing? Oh, today the Timberline Mountain Bike Park opens up at Timberline Lodge. I watched a video on it. It looks awesome. They rent mountain bikes up there. They have all the gear if you don't have your own stuff. There's cool like wood trails that they've made like into bridges almost, and obviously like regular mountain bike trails. It looks really cool. So there's some fun stuff opening up.
Oh, this is interesting.
ahead.
Nicholas Brent on our Facebook stream says, I just came back from a trip around Southern Oregon, and he didn't see anybody in Southern Oregon, it seems, wearing masks. Bend, Sisters, Roseburg, Winston, Port Orchard, up to Seal Rock. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Just so many different perspectives.
We get a reminder this morning from Sally Tappinen, watching on our Facebook live stream right this moment. Good morning, Miss Sally. Sally says, we're asking people what are they going to do this weekend. She says, tax day, anyone? Being a tax professional like she is, she says she's going to be at the office this weekend.
Tax day is next Wednesday,
Yes.
right? July 15th.
Yes, it is.
Taxes are due.
My wife said, I said we had to pay them, like, now, obviously, today. And she goes, I keep waiting. She keeps thinking there's going to be another extension. I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know. I think it's time to pay up Uncle Sam.
Hope
Yeah.
springs eternal. Jennifer Taft, good morning to you. She's saying it's 20 people gathering, but just cautionary tale here. My daughter, she says, went to a party last weekend. 20 people, 7 have COVID.
Oh,
By the way, she
boy.
doesn't live at home. Thank goodness. You stay safe.
Yeah,
My Lord.
I up until this week, I actually had in the back of my mind an idea. I'll tell you that my wife turns 40 next month. 8/22/80 she was born. You do that backwards, it's the same date. How about that? 08/22/80 is the same forward and backward. Anyways, I thought, okay, 40th birthday, we should have a celebration. We're in this house now for a little over a year. We moved in last May, so I thought, all right, we're finally going to break this thing in. Big party at our house for my wife's 40th. And I was kind of holding out hope that we might be able to pull this off. And this week I was like, that's not happening, right? Like, it is just not going to happen. So I don't know what we're going to do for her 40th, but it will not involve the big bash at our house that I was sort of envisioning in my head.
And you were going to lay out kind of a scenario for people to help you weigh in on.
Yeah,
So
well,
tell us.
I don't need your help anymore because the decision
You
has
made
been
the decision.
But I would get your opinions on this. And I already know, Brendan, where you stand on this. Absolutely. In fact, you kind of jumped in my head as we were having this issue at home. So we have, my wife has a cousin who she's very close.
Of what I would do.
You're
This is what
always
you would
in
do.
my head. My wife has a cousin. She's been very close with this cousin for years.
I know that cousin.
Nina, weirdly enough, before
I went to
ever knew
college with
Nina,
her.
Oh, interesting.
Nina met my wife's cousin at the U of O.
Yeah.
So anyways, this cousin, as you know, Nina, lives now on the East Coast in Virginia. So her mother passed away last fall, right around Thanksgiving time. And they were planning all along to come out here. She's in the military, so is her husband. They have 2 young boys, but they were planning on coming out here this summer to spread her mother's ashes down along the Oregon coast. So that is still in the works. And whenever this cousin comes to visit, it's not that often, every few years or so, she stays with us, the whole family. They squeeze into our house and it's all good. I don't care. 2 more boys to add to our boys mix, and it's wild time and they break stuff, but I don't complain. So she calls me last week and says, hey, we're flying in and just calling to see if we can stay with you again. And my wife was like, gulp. Right? And she goes, well, let me talk to Drew about it. So I was like, we can't do that. And she goes, well, what am I supposed to tell her? I said, pretty simple. Like, I didn't fly to the East Coast in June for my sister's 50th birthday
Yeah.
because I thought I don't want to get on a plane right now. It just comes down to that. Planes in my head are not a place to be if you don't have to be, except for Rod Hill because he's working out of the home. He's exclusively working from home. But I said, you just got to tell her, no way. They can't get on a plane and then come to our house. And it's just the same as me getting on a plane as to what I told myself. So that's what she told her. And I think it was like the first thing that cousin said to her was like, man, I'm looking around and we're not finding any hotels. ...
Really?
Like, I don't, listen, you still
There's
can't
no
stay-
hotel rooms?
I think she meant at the coast for that weekend, and I don't know if she was looking for something in particular. But anyways, you agree with me, right? That cousin and her husband and those kids can't get on a plane and then come to our house and stay there for 4 or 5 nights, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. I mean, it's quite a dilemma. I mean, and my heart goes out to them. I mean, they're trying to do something to memorialize someone.
Right.
But yeah, do you have a tent? You can pitch it in the backyard.
We do, actually.
Hey, Drew.
Those kids are going to stay in the backyard. I don't trust those young men. Yes, Rod.
Now, I was going to say, when we went back to Missouri and my mom was having her surgery and she needed some family members there to help take care of her afterwards. So it was one of those deals. But I know my wife was really adamant. We had a plan, and the plan was as soon as we got to my parents' house, we said, hey, we're here. My parents went into their bedroom. We walked in. We took off our clothes. Everything got put into the laundry, and we all took showers. Now, it turns out, none of us got sick in any shape, way, or form, so that was good news. But, it wasn't our minds to do what you can for a situation where we really did need to be there to help my mom out, who's doing great after her surgery, by the way.
Good.
That's what I wanted to say.
I'm telling you, I feel a big responsibility to you guys and to everybody in this building. Not only to what my family wants to do, because we were going to go up to Washington to visit some family before, the cases started blowing up. The family's coming in from Arizona, a hot spot. And Jeff and I looked at each other, we're like, we can't do that. We really want to see the nephews, but I can't go up there after they've been on the plane, staying there for a week, and then come back into this building. Because I do feel like KGW has done a really good job trying to keep everybody safe. So I don't know how you guys feel about that, but in addition
All
to
three
my
of us have
personal, I
traveled.
literally feel like I don't want to mess it up. I mean, and there's no guarantee, right? I could get it going to the grocery store. Anybody could. But I don't know, that's always in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, it's like you get annoyed, right? Because I'm thinking to myself, man, I wish this cousin would have said, hey, we're coming. And of course, considering what's going on, we're going to get a hotel. And then she could have paused and waited to hear maybe we'd still offer. Now we wouldn't have. But it's like, put it out there that this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Don't
But
put
she
it on
understood,
us.
right?
Well, I'm telling you, she was. I wasn't part of the conversation, but it sounded like we got off the phone. It wasn't like, whew, that was good. Tara understood it.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, how many cousins does she have? She said, she's like, oh, she sounded kind of bummed.
Yeah, well, adults have hard conversations.
Yeah.
That's your right.
My wife does anyway.
I know, I'm
Mama
sorry.
Brenda.
Bottom line, let's just cut to the chase.
Hey, I said,
It's
Mia,
your
as soon as you're
decision.
done with your cousin, the boys want to learn about sex. So can you hurry up with that conversation?
And take it away. Mia's always so good at that stuff, though.
Yeah, she is.
Let's see.
Yeah, Jennifer Taft is telling me to have our cousin
Have her rent an RV.
RV.
That's what we did.
Go.
It was great.
That idea.
It was great.
Jennifer for the win. Yes.
Yeah. Just park that
solves your
thing in front of the
problem.
Carney household and, let them empty the thing into your gutter. A la
Oh, yeah.
Christmas
A little
vacation
Christmas
style.
vacation. Danielle is chiming in as I move away from my family's dilemma. Danielle chimes in. Good morning, Danielle. It is a pleasure to see you on the stream here today. She says she is headed to the coast for the day. She's going to find her family's own little spot and let the kids and dogs run and play. It's been way too long since they had an opportunity like that.
Yeah, good. Rob St. Helen, Rod says he wants you to take a little video of you getting your COVID-19
Right.
test next month.
Yeah.
Which, we had better news today. We did like a little story about how the swabs are
Yes.
changing and they're not as scary. It's not like that huge, like Q-tip that's a
Yeah, the
foot
one
long.
in your throat and out your
It's
pink
regular
or
ones. They just kind of encircle your nostril. They're not shoving it up to your brain anymore. And so a nurse was like, calm down, people. You don't have to be freaked out. If you need to get a test, just go get one. It's not going to hurt. So have no fear, Rod.
Yes, I took particular interest in that story. Thank you, Nina.
Exactly.
Yes. My COVID test is, about 4 weeks away.
Yeah.
How long are you going to be out recuperating, Rod?
Well, so a reminder, Brenda, you had this surgery. When was that? A year ago? When was that? It was a year ago, right? Rotator
Just
cuff
a
surgery?
year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah. Or was it 2 years ago? All right.
2018.
So like you, they're telling me I'm going to be in a sling for 6 weeks. I've asked for 2 weeks off work. So hopefully I'll be fine after 2 weeks and I'll be in a sling for the first 4 weeks that I come back, which I think will be great because, I mean, come on. No forecaster has ever gotten the forecast correct every single day, only using one arm.
One-armed weatherman.
So I feel like, I've got a little bit of, loose, area there where if I miss the forecast, it won't be that big a deal.
This is going to
one arm.
drastically affect your mental health and your golf situation, Rod. I mean, how long before you can start swinging a club again?
Next spring, basically. Yeah,
Really?
It shuts me down until next spring.
Well, at least you'll be home.
You have to watch it on TV.
You don't even have to come into the station. And
Yeah.
it's probably, you like stick your head in front of the camera and check in.
I really don't
You
know if you should.
forecast.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Rod.
the goofy thing, though, real quick, is that because, the way we're doing things remotely, and I've mentioned a couple times on the show, my remote program that I use to access the weather computer back at the station,
Right.
everything is so tiny, I really do use this magnifying glass so I can look and see what I'm doing. So my point is, it's a really slow process anyway. So it would be much easier actually back at the station, but I'll be home and I'll be,
They have,
doing this
they have those
really
screen
slowly
magnifiers, like
with
those shields that you put over your computer monitor, and it's like the old people, like you need one of those telephones with the big numbers.
Older, not old.
Older.
I'm okay.
Older.
I don't mind. I like the old people stuff.
Hey,
It helps.
Rod.
I like the old phones. They have those huge numbers.
Yeah.
Rod,
Nina's gonna
did you ever
join
think?
the club
Did you ever
Yes.
pretty
think, Rod,
soon.
Yeah.
when you started using that magnifying glass during the 3rd week of March, did you ever think at the time that you'd still be using that little magnifying glass the 2nd week of July? I mean, you've been there for a long
No,
time.
honestly,
now, my friend.
I remember thinking that I'd be going back at some point in May or certainly by June 1. And now, of course, nobody knows how this is going to play out for sure. But now I'm in the frame of mind I'd be stunned if I was back before September 1st, right? So
I was
so we'll
thinking
see.
next year.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Push
Or
that
next
out
year.
a ways, buddy. I don't think
Yeah.
you're coming back anytime soon.
I know we have to wrap up, but maybe
Yeah,
this
we
is a
do.
food
Yeah,
for
I'm-
thought for next week, because I was thinking as I was off, I always trying to think about the news while I'm off, right?
Really?
I was restaurants right
Really?
now. Some restaurants are trying to encourage other restaurants to just do the outside dining only. Right?
We did that topic
I know,
yesterday,
but
buddy.
listen,
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
all I'm saying is this. I was thinking about that topic that you covered so well while I was gone. I'm thinking, man, that's a great plan for July and August when it's beautiful here, right? But geez, Louise, I mean, I feel bad for all those businesses. If outdoor dining is all we can do for the foreseeable future,
Yeah.
that's going to go away too, if not September, by certainly
Weather.
October.
Yep. No, it's true. Next week, I'll be pondering what's happening on Sunrise Extra because I will be off.
Oh, we
not
had you
be
booked as a
pondering.
guest, actually.
You're not going to be
Wednesday.
pondering anything work related.
We
Better
had you
not
booked
be.
as a guest Wednesday, Brenda, on Sunrise Extra, so stay tuned for that.
All right, you guys, have a wonderful Friday. Try and make it a great weekend. We'll see you back here next week.